glad to be here, and thank you, Tech Mahindra, for this fantastic opportunity. So last month, I was, oops, sorry, thank you. Can you hear me now? That's better? Yeah. Okay. So last month, I was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, visiting a customer, and while I was there was a lot of discussion about another interesting thing happening there. Saudi Arabia lifted the ban on public movie screens. 35 years they had a ban, and they lifted the ban last month. They had their first screening on Jan 13th, and probably you all heard about it. The first movie they chose to watch, the Emoji Movie. But while they couldn't watch movies publicly anywhere in the country, a Saudi could whip out their phone and get an Uber or Careem. And this is true in many parts of the world. Wherever you go today, the redefined personal mobility is having a profound impact on how automotive is emerging. So what we traditionally thought as automotive is quickly evolving into a much broader mobility industry, providing goods and services, products and services for transportation. So today I would like to talk to you about some of these disruptive technologies, how they are changing, new business models, the importance of digital transformation for this industry, what we are doing at GE, what we learned from our own digital transformation journey, and also go in detail about a key factor to consider when you're considering digital transformation. So over the past several years, when we've been talking about these disruptive technologies and new business models that are changing the rules for mobility industry. Autonomous driving, connectivity, electrification, and redefined personal mobility. So starting with the redefined personal mobility, the story I was coming from, driven by the success of ride-sharing services like Uber, like Didi, like Careem, and the new business models for ownership and subscription, it's shifting how the consumer is interacting with the vehicle. It's completely having a new definition on how consumer interacts with the vehicle. Last year alone, more than $30 billion were invested in the new startups for ride sharing and mobility. And we're just getting started. Only less than 2% of the consumers use these services today. So the growth potential is tremendous for this field. Connectivity, most of the OEMs have fully integrated infotainment systems today. Beyond infotainment, they're looking at matching consumer behaviors with mobility services, as in recommending a gas station based on the user preferences, something which is co-located to a car wash or a Starbucks. And then also initiatives to provide these kind of personalization when ride sharing or using the autonomous vehicle. Along with this in-vehicle wide range of services that they provide, these data collected from this connectivity is also being used to improve the asset performance, the vehicle performance itself. And the next big thing is the mountains of data that's coming out is going to be a pot of gold for other industries like the hospitality industry, service stations, oil companies. So this is something which is going to be very exciting, and we're just starting with this. Electrification, probably you heard about it. Better battery technology, tougher emission standards, increased consumer awareness about environment. They're all driving electrification. More and more governments and public sector companies are mandating EV drivetrain vehicles. So this is going to have a big push. This is going to propel electrification space in a big way. So this is going to have an impact on all the players, OEMs, suppliers in the mobility industry, and the people who change are probably going to get a big benefit. There's going to be a big upside for this, and people who are slow to move are going to have a huge impact on the electrification. Last one, the autonomous vehicles, probably everybody heard about it. This is going to mature, this is not there yet. the next few years, with increased customer excitement, this is and the technology coming along with that is going to mature. As we go to level 5 of autonomous driving, the adoption and success is going to hugely depend on the government policies, regulations, investment in infrastructure for AVs. But that said, every stage of the 6 stages of autonomous vehicles is already having an impact on OEMs and suppliers, mainly around on safety, like the lane or park assist or automatic braking. These areas certainly are getting affected. So each one of these are disruptive enough, but they're also mutually reinforcing. Cities trying to handle the problem of congestion, air quality, parking, these all are going to act together, and when they add up, they're transforming the entire industry. Along with this disruption comes a huge opportunity. So projections say the total revenue pool for automotive, the mobility industry will go by 30 to 40% in next 5 years. Some estimates put it as high as double by 2030. Our total revenue pool will go double than what we are today. This is in trillions of dollars, and this is making new technology companies to come in the sector. So there are companies who are coming in today with products and services which are fundamentally different than what we have done in the automotive sector for a long time. And as these companies, when they come in and they expand their layer from mobility into production, into other areas, the players within the industry today, they either have to vastly change their business models or partner with these new companies to remain competitive. So that's going to be a big change. So a lot of companies here, the OEMs, are going through digital transformation. They're providing digital services. They're leveraging digital technologies to transform their operations, how they serve their customers, and eventually the business performance. So digital transformation, that's the topic, is not just for automotive industry. It's become industrial digital transformation is everywhere. Many of the industrial companies today have a goal to put together a strategy to look at the digital tools and come up with new business models on how they serve their customers, how they can participate in new revenue streams and increase their performance. It's around the entire industrial space here. So we have seen this digital transformation helps the companies to participate in the new ways, but along with that, it is helping the traditional companies to improve their performance by increasing their efficiency, their operations efficiency within the 4 walls, what they're doing, their manufacturing, their operations is helping to improve that. And you probably, all of you have heard about the power of 1%, 1% increase in fuel efficiency for airline, or 1% increase in healthcare delivery, or 1% reduction in capital expenditure for oil and gas. These add to billions and billions of dollars. So every industrial company today has a strategy, has a goal to be a digital industrial, not just industrial. It's not just enough to provide best-in-class assets anymore. The customers, the consumers are demanding more value-added data-driven services. So this is becoming a really big deal. So IDC came up with one of the predictions, I think a couple of weeks ago, say by 2020, every major manufacturing company will have a digital platform, and as high as 30% of the revenue will come from these revenue streams, the new digital revenue streams. So it's picking up. It's really important. Digital transformation is going to be something which is going to drive these industrial companies. But I mean, having the digital transformation is not really easy. I mean, when we say digital transformation, it is not digitizing your existing processes. Digital transformation is much bigger. Taking big bets on new technologies, creating a culture of risk-taking, fail fast to learn, agile, focused on values and outcomes for your customers, focus on customer priorities. It's not just digitizing what you're doing today. So this is, I mean, the word is being overused nowadays. Everybody says digital transformation, but real true digital transformation needs big investment, full support from the executives for their organization, and focused around outcomes and customer journey on how they address, how they serve their customers. So, other thing that digital transformation addresses is the productivity. I said, I mean, the existing companies today can get improved performance by operational efficiency. One of the things that is happening is industrial productivity is going down. Between 91 and 2010, we have seen a growth in industrial productivity. On an average, we have seen around 4% growth in industrial productivity. Between 2011, it's gone to 1%. So the traditional initiatives for productivity are not yielding those results that were coming in the last 20 years. So people are looking at digital technologies. I mean, GE predicts around $9 trillion of productivity with the digital when industrial companies go on digital transformation. It's really huge. As I said, digital transformation is not easy. Keystone strategy, they did an in-depth analysis of 75 early adopters, what happened with their digital transformation journey. So these are the companies who started with the IoT initiative, cobbled up platform, software, network, applications, hardware together, and tried to build something as digital transformation for their company. And the results were really disastrous. I mean, only 5% of the projects even reached the base level of outcomes. They took too long to do those projects, risky, closed, fragmented platforms, solutions. It was really hard to reuse. A lot of time was spent on integrating things and not really producing or innovating. So the real value of digital transformation comes when you are looking at future, predicting what can happen, not just saying, you know, what happened or looking backwards. And these initiatives, the 75 companies, didn't even go to reporting backwards, historically looking what happened and where they are. So one of the biggest learning from that was the old platforms, the old ways of doing digital transformation is not sustainable as we go into real digital transformation that we're talking about. So that brings up to the topic I wanted to touch, is one of the main decisions that digital transformation companies do is selecting the right technology partner, the right platform for their transformation journey. So what do we look for in the platform when we look at a digital transformation? Certainly, connectivity is big. You have wide range of assets, from autonomous vehicles to your machines in the plant, your robots, your paint booths, a lot of things, diverse. Some of them are in operations for more than 20, 30, 40 years. Variety of protocols and how you connect to this. So the platform needs to support connecting these assets and extracting data from that. Cloud helps faster development, continuous delivery, efficiency in scaling your operations. And I know a lot of people, automotive, tier one supply, you think, I mean, there are going to be instances, use cases for real-time, control-based, mission-critical requirements that you need to run on edge. And that's the term we talk about, cloud on edge nowadays. So that is perfectly fine. There are going to be some things you really need to run on edge, but for the things that can be centralized on the enterprise level, cloud is the way to go. Access, consistent user access. Everybody talks about aging operators, aging workforce in automotive and mobility industry. As the new workers come in, whatever we are putting together needs to be consistent user experience, something as if they're using their new app on their phone that doesn't require extensive training or manuals. So the platforms need to provide that ability to build those consistent UX experiences that are required for the new kind of applications. Access, again, mobile, getting the information anywhere you want, anytime, having ability to access your data, your analytics, and also the increased use of wearables and mobile devices within the plant floor. So it's going to be very critical that your platform supports mobile integration. Security is big, providing access, full security to your IP, your sensitive information, having the platform that securely allows you to build these digital transformation applications, connects these devices is going to be very, very critical. Faster app development, I talked about access to modern app development. Nowadays, around 80% of the developers spend their time in integrating and setting up the infrastructure, testing, and only 20% goes on innovation. If the platform can release some of that 80% and help them to do more, innovate more, that's going to really help with the digital transformation. Big data, with autonomous vehicles, connectivity, your data is going to increase in petabytes, terabytes, and getting actionable intelligence is going to be a huge challenge. So the platform needs to support AI, cognitive decision-making algorithms, and integrate with the entire ecosystem to make it possible. For example, in automotive, I think first time throughput yield to a paint shop is a huge problem. It's $1 billion problem for some of the OEMs. But when you look at that particular problem, look at the data set that need to be analyzed. I mean, the processes that go in the paint booth, from primer, seal, base coat, or the temperature, pressure, batch of paint, chemicals used, shift, time, machine alarms, history of maintenance of that. There are hundreds and hundreds of variables that affect the first time throughput yield. Any repair or retouch is going to reduce your efficiency. And to analyze that, you need to do a multivariate analysis of so many variables, and the platform that supports those kind of analysis is going to be very, very, very critical. Digital twins are big, and you probably all have heard about digital twins. Not only digital twins for your assets, your operations, your supply chain operation, your manufacturing lines, your cells is going to be something that's going to help you with improved efficiency. Brilliant machines, and this is I mean, machines are getting smarter. They're learning from their surroundings, their environments. In your case, autonomous vehicles, also machines within your operations. So the platform needs to support integration of these brilliant machines as you go to digital transformation. The last one is the complex integrations, right? So, and this is very, very relevant for the automotive industry. In some cases, automotive is way ahead of other industry when it comes to getting onto the digitization or trends around FIS, MIS. You've been doing this for more than 20, 30 years. When I walk into an automotive company, and I've been around for a long time here, but the initiative for FIS, MIS, MES, your whatever warehouse management, your sales and service, all those have been there for a long time. But what traditionally we have done is develop this homegrown island projects that are really, I mean, in some cases, hundreds of these. And companies have hundreds of siloed solutions and systems providing services to all these kind of variety of applications. Granted, in some cases, these are best of the breed. I mean, people really love them, the plants really love them, they want to keep it. But to get the real value, you need a good interaction, seamless data sharing between these systems. So that's something which is going to be really critical. Your PLM talking to your MES to your warehouse management system, your service operations, feeding data back from your service into your design and in your manufacturing. If your vehicle has some issue, getting back to what happened in the manufacturing cycle, which was the operator, what machine, what station, what alarm, linking all that, we call in GE digital thread, linking all operations, manufacturing operations, it's going to be very, very critical, and you need a platform that supports this kind of integration. So something about what we are doing in GE, we looked at available platforms. Traditional OD platforms are really good with device connectivity and what they do on the plant floor, but they lack the new advanced analytics. Similarly, the IT platforms are good in other areas, but they don't have the device connectivity layer. So we wanted something which will bridge the IT and OT layers. This is something we built on our own. This is built from ground up. We call it Predix. This is our industrial platform for digital transformation. Supports connectivity of all assets. This is asset-centric, edge to cloud, wing to wing integration, asset-centric platform. Supports machine level security, data governance, machine learning, and certainly the cloud feature. So this is something what GE invested in, part of GE Digital now, so the product that's being used for digital transformation. So what we have done with that, what we have learned in our digital transformation journey. Certainly using Predix and new digital solutions, we have been able to improve our engineering and design productivity costs, 2 times faster, lower launch cost for new products. And one of the other things I would like to certainly mention in this area is the whole advanced manufacturing. I mean, this is really picking up. This is really big. It is disrupting your supply chain really and transforming it in some ways. The whole 3D printing, additive manufacturing is big. GE has invested it in heavily, and we are using it in some of our engine manufacturing. You heard about LEAP engine, on 30% of the engine is printed today. So going from hundreds of pieces and complex assemblies to less than 10 or 20, this is really changing how your supply chain works. You need to be very, and that's another area probably to focus on. Composite materials, which is not new for automotive and mobility industry, that's big. For other industries also, that's something we are seeing, and GE is invested in that. Manufacturing operations, brilliant factories. We call our factories brilliant only when they're using advanced manufacturing techniques, lean principles to reduce waste, and digital to improve efficiency. So if you look at 2 axes, one being lean and one being digital, our brilliant factory, our brilliant manufacturing sites are the top right corner. So we have selected 75 sites, and we have seen significant productivity through these 75 sites. And the big one is we make big assets. We make turbines, we make jet engines, and the service is other area that we have targeted for digital transformation. There are 30,000 service personnel that use ServiceMax, one of our Predix-based products, for improved servicing of these assets, condition-based monitoring, better sensor connectivity, mobile, and that's another big thing that we are doing in GE. Last but not least, the most important thing is having a good ecosystem of partners. One of the traps is to go alone with your digital transformation. You need industry partners, you need technology providers, you need service providers like Tech Mahindra, who's one of our alliance partners, to make this successful. So it is hard. It certainly something needs investment and focus, but we are at an inflection point in the mobility industry, which we have not seen the last 75 years. So the businesses, the savvy players in the industry who jump onto digital transformation, transform themselves, will certainly come out really successful, will ride this journey. But somebody who fails to adapt or slow may not survive. So we are at this inflection point, and I think digital transformation is going to be really key for your next step as you go into the automotive, transforming into mobility industry. With that, I certainly will give that 10 minutes back what you're looking for. I wish you all success in your digital transformation journey. And again, thank you for this opportunity, and have a great rest of the evening.